And people always talk about like the cleanses helping them come back into better alignment, like mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. How would you say that through your two rainbow cleanse experiences, you've had that alignment sort of just like come back into a more ease?
hmm Well, I think the biggest shifts for me always happen energetically. So it's like really understanding what I've been holding on to for a very, very long time, whether that's like limiting beliefs, whether that's stuff energetically. Obviously, I mean, I personally have had a history of like chronic constipation, just holding on to things, emotions, energies. So really allowing to shed those layers has been like the biggest shift for me. Besides that, I also just feel like it clears so much out of your fields. Um, I don't feel like I came into an abundant mindset until I did my first rainbow cleanse, and it just like really cleared so much, like so many limits and so many boundaries that like I had put in place for myself. It just cleared that so that my flow and my energy was yeah, kind of free flowing again.
I mean, how would you say to shifted your experience of cleansing or even your idea of cleansing? Because there's a lot of different ways of cleansing.
Yeah, I think, there's just so much out there, supplements, cleanses, diets, and I think all of them are great. Like for some people, they might work, for some, they don't. I just don't really think that they're fixing anything. And for me personally, I've been looking for something that like put me back in touch with my own body and what my body needed. And what I feel like a lot of these other cleanses are doing is they're kind of just like, they're telling you what to do for a short amount of time and then you go back to your old ways and it's kind of like you're back to where you started, sometimes even worse. Versus with the enzyme cleansing, it's almost like it's peeling back layers so that you can really feel like, what does my body need, what feels right for me, what aligns with me, instead of being dependent on some some supplement that might alleviate some of your symptoms temporarily. Or like the other day I spoke to this person and right now he's on like 30 different supplements every single day. He has a whole regimen and I'm like, do you want to do that? Do you want to stay on all of these supplements for the rest of your life, or do you just want to heal so that the foods you eat are now medicine and the foods you eat are now your supplement? So yeah, that it changed it for me, as in I think I wasn't properly absorbing what I was eating. And I was also looking at food from, I wouldn't say a wrong angle, but it was definitely not the right angle. And yeah, right now I just see food as fuel and as medicine. And I love how I have a better understanding of what is going on internally and how that affects my mood, how that affects my productivity, how it affects me in a daily life, and what I can actually do about it, and what foods are right for me to get me back to more alignment and a better baseline.
So what would you say, was there like a distinct moment that you had that made you have that like, oh wow, like this is different?
I think my mental clarity. I felt so aligned with myself and with my purpose. And it was as if this veil was lifted, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, like I understand now what I'm supposed to feel like and what my energy could be like on a daily basis, how my relationship to food could feel like. And it didn't feel as hard. Like sometimes I felt like I was like walking through quicksand, when you're like trying to even battle like eating disorder or battle like a relationship to food and constantly trying something new and saying, well, this food is the devil and now this food is the devil. And like just it was so hard, and all of a sudden it became very, very simple for me. And now even choices were becoming really simple, instead of being like, oh my god, like I'm not really hungry tonight but my body needs something. It's like, okay, like I'll have a glass of enzymes and I'm fully nourished, and like I can go to bed and I have the best sleep of my life, instead of being like, okay, like what do I need to eat right now? And understanding that it's medicine, it's food, it's like it's so much more than just, what other products can give you. So I think that was a really big shift for me. And also, yeah, just like understanding that this is the future of healing and this is what people are looking for, but they don't know that they're looking for it. So yeah, really just getting excited about being able to bring this to more people.
What would you say, like, compared to your first versus your second rainbow cleanse? Like, how are they different, like, in the process of like the actual cleanse itself?
So I feel like the first one, it was harder emotionally for me. It was definitely more ups and downs, but my energy was a lot clearer. So I kind of was like, the week itself was kind of easy because for the first time, my body felt like what it felt to fully be nourished. And so I had all this free energy come, and I was super inspired. And so I kind of saw this like increase of energy, inspiration, feeling amazing for the first like entire week until I did the liver part, which definitely took me out on my first cleanse. It was really, really hard. And now it was actually kind of opposite. It was way harder than I remembered in the beginning. So I was moving through a lot more emotions, a lot more, once again, attachment that I had to food. I had a lot more headaches come up the second time. And also just overall a lot less energy. Like I was feeling really exhausted and I had a lot of emotional exhaustion come up, just being like, wow, like I need to rest and I need to just like take a few days for myself. And then the liver part of it was actually really easy. I had almost no emotions come up during the day. I had a really abundant day, like so many new clients signed on, so many new things. So it just felt like it was making space for a lot better things. And even the flush itself, I woke up with no nausea and I was passing like really big gallstones. So yeah, overall, I saw an improvement of like the detoxing effects. And I'm just really excited to see how that journey will continue and how every time it'll be different.
Was there like a mindset change or something that happened between the two liver cleanses or the two rainbow liver cleanses?
I definitely think that on my first one, I didn't really know what I was getting into yet, but I do think I prepped a little better for it. So on the first one, I was really, I cleared my schedule and I was like really preparing for the worst. And it actually was like, oh, it was kind of easy. Then the liver part of it, I would say, I just didn't really know how much repressed anger I had the first time. And so for me, it was really the first time that I felt into all of this anger and this resentment and this guilt that I was holding on to. So it was just really familiarizing myself with an emotion that I haven't really felt before, which is why I think the first one was so difficult. I did another liver cleanse in between, just like the 1-day kit. So I have been working on a lot of this anger and a lot of this resentment and guilt and frustration. So I feel like because I've already been working on it so much, it was easier this time. And it was almost like I was expecting a lot of anger to come up. And because I was already like allowing it to come up in the days prior to the liver cleanse, it was almost like it was kind of just like okay, like we can relax now. So yeah.
Feel simultaneously empty, physically empty, but full because the enzymes are nourishing your body. How would you say that experience of emptiness, how did you work with that feeling of emptiness?
Yeah, it's a very interesting feeling that I haven't really experienced before. I've personally been an emotional eater, so for me it's not common to sit with the feeling of emptiness, especially if I know that I'm full, so that it's all emotional. It's very challenging, I would say. I think it's challenging because it just brings up like all your attachments to food and it brings up all your emotions that are attached to the attachments. So, for a lot of us, it's a coping mechanism to just eat and eat and eat. And when we feel sad or when we feel lonely. And so when you sit with that emptiness, it just brings up all your shadow. So it really just shines the light on where your work needs to be done. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's also very challenging.
I'm just curious, like, where do you see the future of enzymes going? Not even just like enzymes, but just like this feeling to healing and feed nourishment type of cleansing or like health.
Yeah. So I just think it's going to be the future of medicine because, I see it so much with my clients. It's like they come to me and they're like, well, I want to work on this specific thing, or I want, this is my struggle. Will this help for me? Or I have skin problems, or I have liver problems, or I have digestive issues. And, like there's really no other medicine out there that is like, this is for everyone and everything. And I think when we start to understand that disease starts at the same level for everyone. It's really just like, so how do we get back to that baseline before disease starts? Like how do we get back there? And by utilizing these tools, the enzymes, and like who knows what's
the future is going. What do you do to create a better self and a better world?
Good question. What do I do to create a better self? I think really just always looking at areas that I can work on in myself. So really looking at any attachments I have to the outside world, always looking for areas that I can improve my well-being, my mindset, the people that I surround myself with. Because I think that if I know how to do that for myself, and if I fully can get myself to a place of peace and health, then I will have the tools and can share that with the world. So I think it all starts by the individual. And I do feel like a lot of people in this world, unfortunately, focus on the world before they focus on themselves. So they focus on, they hear a little bit of knowledge and immediately focus on spreading it versus first integrating the knowledge and really applying it to their own life. And so, I'm just constantly checking in with my beliefs. I'm constantly checking, like, even just questioning my own, like, whatever I say and whatever I say to other people, just questioning, is this truth? Is this my truth? And will this resonate for other people as well? And I think just getting closer and closer to myself, which obviously involves this cleansing process. And it just involves peeling back those layers and shedding as much of the programming of society as I can, and of my own programming because of my survival mechanisms in this world. And really establishing a really, really solid relationship to myself. And with that, I automatically see the people around me change, and that message spreads so organically. And like, I don't even have to focus on sharing too much. Is if I just share what works for me, then I know that that's essentially is going to be the medicine for other people as well. So, I mean, sharing about enzymes has been a huge, huge part of it for me. So really just, with all that excitement that I put in it for myself, I'm able to cultivate that kind of energy behind the message I'm spreading when it comes to enzymes, or when it comes to health or practices like meditation or,
Yeah.